Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's get straight into it, shall we? I thought I'd first of all bring it to your attention that somebody around here has been pretty on the ball. I've been talking about a lot of these things for a little while now. So our bull market this year, this is the beginning of the year, we're on the 11th now, this is 9 days ago, technically 10 days ago. Also the rounded bottom on Algorand, who talked about that? Oh, it was me. Look, shooting straight up to the stratosphere and probably beyond as well. What else have I been talking about? The pullback week, yeah, we got a pullback. The dollar being the euro dollar being the major indicator for everything. I still believe that to be the case. We're yet to have the pullback on the dollar. Algorand's next big bounce. That's right. The dollar bounce is coming. It certainly is. How the Bitcoin will make its way to 19,200. Now everybody's super bullish about this, aren't they? Now at the moment, people are talking about the next bull market coming. But I'll tell you who told you about that first. It was me, the bull market this year. Okay, altcoins starting to move exactly as expected. That's true. Guess what's been happening recently? Well, they've all been starting to move. This was 4 days ago, technically 5, because they've not done their 24-hour period pump yet. Look, at the end of the day, there's only one person that tells you how it is. You might not like it. You might want more clickbait from other people selling you hopium, but there's one thing about markets which is worth knowing, and that's the reality of them. Okay, the reality of them is what counts. So without further ado, let's get straight into it then. So we're still looking at this euro being the most sideways of sideways. This is a 15-minute chart basically. We've been sat in this tiny range for 50 on this 15-minute chart. It's ridiculous. This is the tightest range it's been in for a little while. As you all know, tight ranges usually, well, not usually, almost always will form a volatile move. We can look at this over here on a 4-hourly. And again, I'm boring you to death with this, but it's worth thinking about. We've got what looks like a bullish pennant, like a bull flag. But volatility, again, moving down on this. And although the chart is very bullish, and I do like the look of it, and I'm not suggesting by any means that this breaks down to extreme lows or anything like that. I just think that what we're seeing here on the euro is ready for an attempt to retest this golden cross down here, about 104.4. So 104.4. All right, this is all I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're going to break down from here. I'm in favor of a bull market, which is why I've been talking about all this stuff since before Christmas and leading up till today. I'm only focused on the euro to try and find an area to buy or long a dip on all markets, stocks, probably some commodities, and crypto as well. We were talking yesterday about the 4-year market cycle as well. We'll have a quick look at that. This is on the Patreon. I suggest you think about joining that. You can ask me questions about any charts that you want or any indicators that you like or general my perspective on whatever. Yeah, it's only £7.50 a month, 2 live streams a week. But we were looking at and this isn't anything new. We've looked at this loads and loads of times. But this is Bitcoin to USD on Bitstamp, so a very long chart history. We've been here, we've seen it all before. Turn off all this noise. We don't need to look at any of this particularly. We're just looking at time frame, and again, we've been focused on this since, well, I suppose summertime really, talking about the peaks and the lows and the peaks and the lows and the peaks and the lows, all within these white lines that represent halvings. Halvings take place every 4 years. Bitcoin so far has had a 4-year market cycle. Is it going to continue with a 4-year market cycle? Is it going to do that? Well, let's have a think about what we're seeing here. The peak takes place usually within the first quarter to the first third of this halving period, and so does the low. It's sort of in the middle zone, so within the first 2/3. Same thing happened over here. The peak and the low within the 2/3 of the way through, peak and low. We got the peak over here, and the low should have been in really anytime from September to December. That's from a time cycle perspective. And so what we're really thinking about now is that risk to reward, where we're going to go from here. Whether we come down to, let's just say this is where we are right now maybe, or we've got a little further to go. We've measured this before, it's about 20% further. Maybe that's the case. 20% from here takes us down to a new low. That's no big deal. A 20% low compared to what's most likely going to be at least a 500 to maybe 1,000% high seems reasonable risk to reward to me. As far as time is concerned, we are going to probably spend a fair bit of time meandering around these levels, probably below 30, but definitely below 40, I would say. 40 is the new 20, I would call it, or maybe the new 12 of the last bull market. and rally into this halving, which is around March 2024, roughly March, April 2024. So we're thinking about, you know, sideways, volatile ups and downs, especially with the overall economy being the way it is, and traditional markets still being in their bear market. But again, you know, I've been saying it for ages. There is a very good chance that this is the low for traditional markets. Doesn't mean we go rallying to brand new all-time highs, but I think that this is the low so far on this bear market, and what we are unlikely to see will be a new low anytime soon on traditional markets, and that's only going to add more weight to the fact that Bitcoin is going to creep out of this into a bull market. Either way. I've been talking about this for a while. I've been talking, you know, you can see it all here. For those who don't like it, obviously don't watch it. For those who do like it, send me a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Join the Patreon if you want to know more, and leave a comment to help my algorithm. So let's have a think about what's going on today, just very specifically today. And now that I've given myself, you know, I've held myself in such high regard this morning. Someone's got to do it. The viewers aren't there to do it for me. There's only a few that do. Someone's got to keep me going here, other than my bank balance, which is obviously, you know, pretty sweet at the moment. Right, so we're looking at Bitcoin here on a 4-hourly. Now we've got our golden cross. We are looking for a golden cross to get retested. That's pretty standard behavior. Same thing as the euro. Same thing on most of these altcoins. The golden cross very likely gets retested. Doesn't have to happen today. But if it were to happen, we've got the 50 sitting around 17,064. We've got the 200 sitting around 16,966. These are all going to be ticking up with every 4-hourly close. So they are moving averages. That means that the supports get higher and higher with every 4 hours. So if it happens today, it'll be at these lower levels. If it happens tomorrow, it'll be higher levels, and so on and so on and so on. Let's have a look at the momentum over here. So what we do have, ever so slightly, is a tiny drive of bearish divergence on both money flow index and RSI. Normally you'd look for some kind of reaction after 3 drives, but we've only got the 2 at the moment. And I can't guarantee that we would get a 3rd drive, to be honest with you. It might get completely cancelled out if we move up to the next level. The next level probably being close to, or maybe even into 18,000. The reason I say that is because I believe it to be the case. I'm not saying it for clickbait. I'm not saying it for hopium. I'm not asking you to go long on Bybit and liquidate yourself so I can enjoy the commission that Bybit gives me or whatever, like some of these major influencers would certainly do for you. I'm telling you because I've been talking about it since before we started to rally up to this level. Yeah, it's just a continuation of the overall expectation of where I think price action is going to go. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the 19,200, more or less sitting around this, just above this descending triangle. The new descending triangle that came into existence after the major big one for the bear market failed when we broke out and FTT or FTX, sorry, decided to bring us back down within it. We are still in another descending triangle, a lot more shallow, which leads me to think that an accumulation has begun even within a bearish formation like this. So it all looks pretty good. We're crossing above the 0 point over here on the MACD now, which is definitely bullish, looking for bullish moves, bullish breakouts. The thing that I'm trying to hit home to everybody is that there are a lot of reasons to be bullish. Bullish divergence on the money flow index, major bullish divergence on the money flow index, by the way, huge, similar to this low here, marking the absolute low, similar to this low here, marking the absolute low, similar to this low, marking the absolute low. Recognize that this is FTX here. This is an FTX liquidation event, causing an enormous drive of bullish divergence on the money flow index. Just like this was the March crash, huge liquidation event, bullish divergence. And this one over here, which was basically the capitulation at the end of the last bull market. So huge liquidation, huge liquidation, huge liquidation, higher high, higher high, higher high. There is so many reasons to be bullish. And even like yesterday where I was talking about the death cross on the weekly. Death crosses are never a great thing to see. On a weekly, of course, they're extremely lagging. But just like any death cross or golden cross, you would look to see if they're going to get retested. Are they going to get a bearish retest at best? Or are they just a red herring? Either way, I look for them to generally get retested, which is why I'm focused on the euro, retesting the golden cross, which is why I'm focused on all these altcoins and Bitcoin, which have had their 4-hourly golden crosses, looking for retests of those. They're bullish, looking for continuation. you know. And so if we're thinking about this in terms of what's most likely going to happen, whether we have continuation up or down, a retest of that is more likely than not. And if that is going to get a retest, we're talking about basically the low to mid 20,000s. So even if we get a death cross, we should probably rally into it to see if it's genuine or not. That's normally the case. It's normally the case. 70% likely, I think, or maybe even higher than that. We talk about these and we look about these things on Patreon all the time. All the time. Someone tells me to look at a chart. We look at a chart. There's a golden cross. I say, let's just wait to see if it gets retested. We revisit it on the next stream. It got retested, and that's where the rally comes from. Very, very common. So there is so much to be bullish about at the moment. CPI data continuing to fall, at least on the trueflation that we look at. I'll make a video about that maybe later on today, release it later on, because the data's coming out, I believe, tomorrow. And so we can think about what that's going to cause. Obviously, volatility anyway. So there's so many reasons to be bullish, which is why I've been talking bullish for a little while. I just probably haven't made the effort to be super clickbaity about it all, and being realistic about what it is that I'm saying. Short term, I am still looking for this pullback. Long term, I think we're starting a new bull market. The bull market last time was like this: up, down, up, down, up, down, and then parabolic. That's probably the sort of thing that we should expect this time round again. So don't be under the illusion that we go straight back up to new all-time highs straight away. I think it's very unlikely. I think we stay below at least 40, but probably stay below 30 for what could be another 18 months or so. We will see. Traditional markets are going to play a major role in that. But the Dixie obviously finding its huge rejection. That again, I told you about that before it happened. People just, they were unable to accept what the Dixie was about to do. Unable to accept it. People telling me it was going to go to 120. It's going to go all blah, 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 blah. But no, it continued to break down, and it the biggest breakdown we've seen on the dollar in a long, long time. And I told you all of this way before it happened, and then it happened. So look, I'm not saying that I'm the absolute don. There is no such thing as a crystal ball. This is my bread and butter. This is how I make my money. I look at these charts. I trade these charts. I try to understand these charts like they're members of my family or my closest friends. They've all got their own behaviors. They've all got their own personalities. They all respond to indicators in different ways. And I take the time to make these videos for you in the morning, because this is what I sit down and do in the mornings anyway, to try and make myself a little bit of cash, But yeah, either way, long story short, there is a good chance that the low is in, as we have speculated since the summer, that the low would be in between September and December. If that's the case, we could look back in hindsight and go, well, we were right all along. If it doesn't go on to make a new low, I don't think it's a great big deal. I don't think it's the worst thing we could imagine. I think it will get picked up inevitably, and we will continue with a bull market. It's not likely to be a huge tear-up year this year. If anything, it's going to be sideways for traditional markets, which could allow for Bitcoin to rally maybe a few 100% from where we are right now. But it's not going to be the incredible pumperoonie that we've been used to in the last, in 2021 at least. But that's also, if anyone was around in the last bull market, that's also how the last bull market was, even for Bitcoin and altcoins. It wasn't straight up. It was up, down, up, down, up, down. It was up and down. Right, so I'm going to leave it with you there. Hope you get the idea. I'm bullish long term. I'm bearish in the very, very short term. I'm looking for a retest before I go hard and heavy. And yeah, I will leave it with you there. But thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.